Hello and welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to beautiful northern Colorado, where I'm out for a drive with Lisa in the Audi e-tron, and we got to talking about her Volkswagen ID4, and I said, you know what? We need to make a video about this. Lisa's owned her Volkswagen ID4 for, I want to say, a year now, and even a little bit longer. We've done some videos with her, and she's had some very recently major problems with it. So this is a little bit of a cry for help from Volkswagen to help figure out what's going on with her car. I'm going to walk you through the whole situation, how service has been, and just see what's going on, because I would say we would all agree ultimately the ID4 is generally a pretty reliable car. I've seen taxis with a ton of miles on them. We've driven them as hard as you can imagine and they've held up, but I really think there's a specific problem with Lisa's ID4 First Edition, and it keeps bricking on her. So let's talk about her ownership experience and sort of these problems, and maybe we can help find a solution for her. Hey Lisa, welcome to Colorado.
Thank you.
What are you doing out here?
Just visiting my two girls and visiting you, Kyle.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming out, and we've made some videos together about your ID4 in the past, and you even get recognized at charging stations, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And have you made any friends from people that you've met?
Yes, and actually, people have bought an ID4 because of me, and they've told me that. So I really love the car, but recently there's been some issues, and we need to fix or get, figure it out, because it's kind of frustrating. And I drive the car. I not one to see a bunch of lights go on the dashboard and not care about it.
Right. Yeah, totally agree. And we should talk a little bit about your ID4, because we discussed early on like what would be the perfect car for you, and I think we really found it. I think the ID4 is great. You've owned Volkswagens in the past. Four Volkswagens, really? And you really wanted to switch to electric mobility.
Correct.
We showed you our Teslas back in the day. You loved those. Your dad drives a Tesla. We've made videos with him. And ultimately, do you think the ID4 works for you? You really drive the car pretty well. You go on long trips with it.
Yep.
You've charged it many times.
Yep.
What's your impression?
We've actually gone up to New England. We've gone to Florida. We have no problems with the charging, and we've enjoyed it. It's just recently things have started to happen, and just not getting the answers I'd like.
Right. So I would say your first 20,000 miles were relatively trouble-free on the car. And one of the things you've mentioned as well is, when are you going to get software updates to me?
Actually, I was told when I purchased the car that the software updates would come in June of 2022. So I really thought this would happen, but it has not happened. So that is quite frustrating, because I know how important it is actually having family members that own Teslas.
Right. Software updates really can help transform the experience, and your car's not been updated to software 3.1, let alone software 3.2. You're stuck in the 2.8, 2.7 days, something like that. And, ultimately, I think 3.1, 3.2 adds plug-in charge, route planning, things that would make your ownership experience better. I know brand new Volkswagen ID4s are actually shipping on the newest software, but they are still not updating the older cars in America yet to the newest software. Correct. And I believe they are in other markets. So for some reason, we're a bit behind with the software updates, and way beyond promised, of course.
Yes.
And so, okay, we got a call from you a few months ago, and you're like, hey, my car won't move.
Well, actually, prior to that was, hey, my car is stopped, and I was out in the country, and it would not move. Yes, and it would not start. And it was overheated by, I don't know if it was electronics or whatever.
So how do you know it was overheated then?
The dashboard computer was very, very hot. And then where the, I don't know what you call it, the speedometer area, that was very, very hot. And then...
Do you think it was hotter than normal sitting out in the sun, or?
Actually, it's not any, it was like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
The ABS warning lights came on, and they said the information's not available. I just wrote this all down.
Yeah.
There was the triangle, and then it has a stop sign in the middle. That turned yellow, and then it turned red, and then it said stop your car. And honestly, I was at 0 mph, and it was still going on.
Right.
So I made a call to the Volkswagen dealership and
The Flow dealer in
yeah,
Wilmington, right?
and
Yeah.
actually they really have been working hard with me. So I don't have, I mean,
Yeah, no complaints with the
no
dealer.
complaints with the dealer. I mean, we're working hard. But I ended up calling a tow truck, but within 45 minutes to an hour, my car started up, the lights went off, and I was able to drive home slow is what I did. And then I got back, the lights went back on, but I was able to get it to the dealership. But unfortunately, the dealership needs to see this happen, and they had it for 2 to 3 days doing the same things I did, and nothing happened.
Right, so you brought it into the dealer and they basically said, sorry, we can't replicate it. We have no idea what's going on. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
And they were cool about it. They're just like, we genuinely don't know what's wrong.
Right.
They saw the stored fault codes, right, in the car? Do you know if they did? Or did it not even save the codes?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. I remember they basically said, wait for it to happen again because
Yes.
we have no idea.
Yes.
And then what happened was it did happen again, right?
Yeah. In April, they found a lot of history codes that had happened in the past, but that was in April. So there were some other codes that came in.
Right.
But yes, so then in August, I was in my garage and I couldn't back my car up. Again, this is what my car looks like right now. I am stuck in a garage. I did try to call Flo, which is where I bought the car, had to leave a message. So then I put my brake on to try to go down and do the R, and it goes back up. And then if I can't even go to drive, then if I press it in the middle, this is what I get. And then I get this on my dashboard. So I'm getting in my car. I am getting in my car again, and I press on the car, and this is what it says. But it also said something auto on hold. Travel assist is currently not available. Rear traffic alert is currently not available. Emergency assist is currently not available. Now I'm going to press in here, and it's going to say this. And there's another thing it does right at the beginning. I will get out of my car because this happened to me before. Get in, and it says this: error, electronic parking brake. And it just wouldn't let me back up.
Right. And this is a car you rely on. It's your everyday driver. And for the fact that, relatively low mileage car, about 30,000 miles, right?
About 34 now.
34,000. I mean, you drive the car, no question, but you're not abusing it. You're using it normally. You charge it to 80%.
Yep.
You're not, doing anything wrong with the car, I would say. And it's having these weird electrical malfunctions.
Yes.
Now, the one that happened in your garage, you got in, tried to back it up, and I know the car went to neutral, but it wouldn't go into gear, right?
No. So now I'm just sitting in my car, just got back in, and this is what's going on with my car now. So let me get ready and putting the brake on. We're seeing all this light up. We're having that light up. That's lighting up. I am able to drive, I think, but like I said, I have this all going on.
And you even shot a little video clip, so we can insert that as well to show what that was like.
That would be good.
But basically the car just wouldn't move.
No,
and it was
would not
freaking
move.
out. Every light was on. And you missed your class. Where were you going? Pilates?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
And then it said something kind of funny. It said, don't drive your car in an incline while I was sitting in a garage.
Right.
So I was able to drive the car after about 45 minutes. Then the lights all went out, everything. And I was able to back up. And then I went over to the bridge over in Wilmington, but I started seeing more lights go back on.
Oh, really?
So that's when I decided to bring the car into Flow, because they had an appointment for me the next morning. And actually, and I'm waiting on the data sending over, actually they needed to get, I don't know if it was chips or I don't know what it was.
But they found some issue with it, right? And so now that Flo has the car, this is the third time it's happened, is it?
Well, this is the first time that's happened.
Third time they've
had the car in.
Third time the car's been in for the issue.
And it's been very nice to me. They've given me a car I had 8 days of a rental car.
Yeah, a loaner to drive and no charge, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they're doing their best. But would you say it's your impression that with these electric vehicles, of course, it's not like you can just pinpoint to a problem. A lot of it's software design. A lot of it could be a wonky connection in a sensor.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what the problem is. And I think you and I both get the impression that they also don't know what the problem is. So I think you get the impression that they may not know what exactly is wrong, and we don't know what exactly is wrong either. And they're sort of finally, for the first time, trying to fix some things, is what it feels like. So they're spitballing, trying to replace this part and that part, etc. But what do you think is the next step? What if this happens again? We just don't really know for sure if this car is going to be fixed.
And that's where I'm at right now, because I rely on the car. I purchased a car that I felt would be safe for me. I don't want to be stuck somewhere. And that's where I'm at with Volkswagen. And then it's frustrating that nobody really knows what's happening. And I shouldn't have to be bringing my car in my first year.
Right. Sure. I agree with that. So let's say that you had the option to somehow trade in for another ID4 or find some sort of solution to go back. What would you buy another ID4? Because I think the car works really well for you.
I really love the car. Yes, it does. And I would love to keep owning an ID4. It could just be because I have the first edition.
Right. I think you and I both agree it's probably not a widespread issue with ID4. We know we've heard of some electrical faults with cars here and there from your era, and a lot of it was down to 12-volt batteries, I think, and some other weird little things. This seems to be way more exacerbated than any other ID4 problems I've heard of, at least. And I think it's a very car-specific issue. I don't think it's representative of the whole model line.
Yeah. There is a lot of different lights, error, auto hold.
Right. It kind of feels like one sensor probably freaked out, and then like we were talking, a lot of these cars are interconnected, and it just freaks everything else out when one little thing goes wrong. So I think the best plan of action is we should start considering a trade-in process for your car, maybe finding you another ID4. Maybe there's different legal aspects to go if it happens again. I don't know what the lemon laws are in North Carolina. Every state's a little bit different. But ultimately, we know the guys from Volkswagen watch our videos. We really do love the cars, and I know you love yours.
Absolutely.
But it definitely isn't a great feeling to have to wonder every time you get inside, will the thing even turn on?
And I'm in outside sales, and I really need a dependable car. And right now, I'm just not feeling it like I used to. And so I just would need some help on it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So it's a help from our audience to understand what the laws are in North Carolina for a lemon situation, because I haven't looked them up. I don't know. Sometimes things have to happen within the first year.
I think so.
Yep.
I really think I'm out of the lemon.
Yeah, might be out of the lemon, but thankfully the car's held its value really well. But again, quite a bit of miles. We may want to consider getting you into an all-wheel drive version of the ID4. Perhaps. Not sure if you really need it. But there's ways to do. So I think this will be an ongoing story. We wanted to give you a little Lisa ownership update. Sorry we don't have the car here. We brought the e-tron along because it's like the ID4's bigger brother. Yep. But I think the biggest thing to leave our audience with is we understand that there's always going to be a few cars that come off the line that have some issues. Yes. It's not necessarily representative of the whole model line. Early e-trons, for example, had a ton of issues. This one has been rock solid. So sometimes it's a car-specific thing, but good luck in figuring out what to do. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Hopefully this little recent fix fixes it.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to see. We'll see if this little recent fix fixes it, and maybe they'll have the updates by then.
Right, maybe it just needs software 3.1 and the car will be totally fine. So time will tell, but thanks for joining on another Out of Spec Reviews video. And we're gonna head back out and cruise around in the e-tron. What do you think about the e-tron? Would you upgrade to an e-tron from the ID4?
Yes.
But you also like the Rivian.
I really love the Rivian, and I'm going to look into that.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, my husband drives the 350 diesel, and after being able to drive the Rivian, it just kind of would need, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a diesel truck. Electric's perfect for what you guys do. So thanks for watching, and see you all in the next one soon. Bye-bye.